Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching. Excited today to share with you a side-by-side comparison of H&K's two smallest striker fire guns, and that is the VP9SK as well as the new CC9. This video is being filmed in April of 2025, and as of that time, the CC9, by all reports that I've read and videos I've watched, is reported to be discontinued and I think replaced by the new CC9. This gun was released in October of the past year. I will tell you, VP9SKs are still readily available in my local gun shops. I have yet to see a CC9 in a local gun shop yet. I think these are still pretty hard to come by. So it could be a period of transition, but I believe at the end of the day, the CC9 will replace the VP9SK, but they're both fantastic carry options from H&K if you like a striker fire gun. So I'm gonna look at them side by side. Again, this is currently listed on H&K's website still, I'm assuming as they sell through excess inventory. However, it is not listed with the new VP9A1s. Those only list the full-size options. I didn't see an SK there. So we'll take a look at all the features side by side, talk about what I like about better one versus the other on both guns. And again, as always, I'd love to hear from you guys. If you have experience with either, or especially both, which gun do you like best? So again, these are both striker fire guns, the subcompact genre, if you will. And they're very similar in lots of ways, but still have lots of differences. If I just do a size comparison, I didn't write the specs down, but I'll tell you, you can see visually here, the VP9 is a little bit longer. Here you can see the difference. So it has a little longer sight radius. I think the length is closer to my SIG P365XL. So it does become a little more shootable with the longer sight radius. Both firearms for me are super accurate 5 yards and in. Once you get beyond 7 yards outside the self-defense range, I'm not sure how great they are, but both very shootable. I would say the VP9 is probably slightly more shootable. So with a longer sight radius. Height, they're pretty much the same height. Maybe it's just a smidge taller on the CC9 here, but not a lot of difference there. Weight-wise, the VP9, or the CC9 rather, is quite a bit lighter than the VP9. I'm not sure of all the, lots of different things that could factor into that, but definitely a lot lighter on the CC9. And also, the big difference is the width. I want to talk about ergonomics in a second, and the VP9 is very ergonomic, but that comes at the cost of being a fatty. I think, I do know the measurements here. This guy is 1.3 inches wide, so fairly wide for a carry gun especially, versus the CC9, which is just under 1 inch wide. So hopefully you can get perspective there of how thin the CC9 is. So maybe too thin for some people, especially with the grip. But when you're carrying, that 0.3 inches makes a big difference in comfort. So again, that's kind of the overall dimensions of these guys. Just kind of looking at them, we'll go top to back on both. Both have good sights. You can see different sight pictures, different back sights on the VP9. Both 3-dot setup on the VP9 here. You've got blacked out rears on the CC9. You can rack those on your belt if you need to, but I guess you can these as well. So sights are great on both. You can see that the VP9 on the right here does have a striker indicator. We don't have it on the back of the CC9. One small difference there. You'll also note that the CC9 does come optics ready. The VP9 has evolved over time, and I believe the new A1s are all optics ready, but the CC9 I have, or the VP9 I have here, is not optics ready. Both have cocking serrations fore and aft, so no difference there on both sides. As you're looking at the tops, one thing I do notice about the CC9 I like is this little index point here on both sides. So you can use that as an index point for your trigger finger, or for your trigger finger, or your support thumb as needed. So a very nice feature added there on the CC9. Not really on the VP9, but again, you have plenty of room for your hands on this one. So maybe a little roomier on the VP9 versus the CC9, but very similar. Big optics cut on the CC9 is the big difference. Going down, they both have pick rails, fairly short pick rails. If you look at the trigger guards, the VP9 definitely has an oversized trigger guard compared to the CC9. Looks like a little more room for gloved hands. The CC9 is smoothed off around the trigger guard, where the VP9 has got a curved edge here, more of a squared off edge here, and some texturing here just as needed. bit of an undercut on both of them so you get a good high grip on there. As we're walking around this part of the gun, one big thing that people are very passionate about and complain about the CC9 is the mag release. H&Ks are fabulously ambidextrous. I'll talk about that in a second. Well, let's talk about that now. Slide stop on both sides of both firearms, good for left-handers or right-handers. And H&K's legendary paddle release works with both left-hand and right-hand shooters. So love the paddle release, a signature item for H&K. The new CC9, very controversially, does not have the paddle release. It has a button release, but that button release is on the left and right-hand side of the firearm, which shoots the magazines out. So love the fact that it is fully ambi. Really appreciate that, being a lefty. I got used to the button. I wish it were paddles, but no big deal. I'll get over it. Both have some type of finger grooves. You can see small finger grooves here in the CC9, as well as finger grooves in the VP9. Note, I believe the A1 just introduced eliminated finger grooves. That may be getting into Glock Gen 4, Gen 5 territory I'm not super familiar with, so don't know about that. Both have great texturing. You can see the texturing on the CC9 here compared to side by side with the VP9. Very much a Goldilocks type texture, not too grippy, but grippy enough that it helps control recoil. So I really like the texturing on both. You can see it on the back strap and in the finger grooves up front on both of them, actually. Now, talking about the back straps and the grips, one big difference in the two, the CC9 does feel phenomenal in my hand. It just feels natural, feels great. It does feel thin. And one thing they do is they give you adjustable back straps that you can put on there to adjust the position of your trigger finger to get it right on the trigger. I think I have the XL version on here, but that does make the gun somewhat customizable and makes it even more ergonomic than without that. The VP9 also has that back strap on there, but in addition to that, it also has side panels that are adjustable. And I will tell you that the VP9 and his brother, the P30, are the most ergonomic guns that I own. I love both of them so very much. And the fact that you can customize it is really special. You can put a small back strap on here and fat side panels if that were to fit your hand better for better trigger placement. So as far as ergonomics, I definitely would give a nod to the VP9. I think it's a bit more shootable with the longer sight radius and a lot more comfortable with just how ergonomic it is. So heads, check marks in the boxes for the VP9 on shootability and comfort with just the ergonomics of the firearm. Capacity-wise, both of these are shown with flush fit 10-round magazines. It gets tricky on the VP9 because the VP9 that I bought, or I have here, is an older version which came with a flush fit 10-round magazine and a extended 13-round magazine. I believe at some point these were upgraded to a flush fit 12-round magazine and a 15-round magazine here. And we'll look at the extended magazines in a second. But the CC9 comes with a flush fit 10-rounder like this, which I can get a full grip on, just barely. Same with the CC9. Maybe it's even less grippy there, so maybe a little less grip on the VP9 versus the CC9. But if I switch out for the extended pinky plate like this, which offers 12 rounds now, this is how I prefer to carry it. This is extremely, extremely comfortable. Love this grip on this grip on the CC9 and that magazine with the extender on there. On the extended magazine that came with the VP9, it's not quite as ergonomic, quite as appealing as the extended magazine on the CC9. And I'll tell you one problem I have, as well as two other people I've talked to, is this magazine that comes with the VP9, the extended one, has a gap here, and there is movement in there. And when you shoot the firearm, it actually pinches your fingers, so much so that you actually literally flinch when you shoot the firearm. I'll tell you, one great thing about the VP9 is the magazines are interchangeable with the P30, full size, compact, they all fit. So I've run multiple size magazines in this firearm. I never shoot this one because it pinches my finger all the time. So we'll switch it out for now because I just don't like it. So while it is ergonomic and it has more capacity, I don't like the extended magazine capacity because it pinches. This has never pinched me at all. One other thing I forgot to mention as we're going around the firearm coming to the back of them, the CC9 is very sleek, very thin. You can see the back here. There's no striker indicator like I mentioned before. But the other big difference that the VP9 does, which I've not seen on any other firearms, is it makes it really user-friendly to rack the slide. It gives you these ears here on each side of the rear sight that allows you to cock the firearm easily. So you can cock it front, back, or by the ears. So that's just a very signature type feature of the VP9 that you don't see on any other firearms. The last thing to look at, I think, is the trigger. And I'll pop these out and show safe for everybody. VP9, good to go. And the CC9, all good to go. So I'll start with the CC9, the newer one first. So have racked the slide and look at the trigger. Got some take up. You got the safety dongles, of course, on there, but you have a little bit of take up and pretty much at the wall and it breaks. I'll do that again. So a little bit of take up at the wall and it breaks. Looking at the reset, small bit of take up, but you're pretty much at the wall and breaks. One more time, audible and tactile, small bit of take up and fire. So really nice trigger on this guy, really nice trigger. On the VP9, again, a little bit of take up, also a little louder, I can hear. A little bit of take up, a little bit of creep right there actually, and it breaks. Try that one more time. So take up, a little bit of creep, and it breaks. Looking at the reset here, you can definitely feel that, definitely tactile and audible. Small bit of take up actually, and a little bit of creep. So I actually think, one more time, reset, take up, a little crunchiness there, and it breaks. So I've always liked the trigger on the VP9. I think I like the trigger on the CC9 a little better. When I shoot them both well. I really, again, I can't, they're pretty equal inside 5 yards. Further away than that, I'm not great with either one. I probably will put a dot on here for everyday carry. So I like the VP9 for its comfort, its ergonomics, the fact that it's got a little longer sight radius, it's got more capacity. It does cost more. MSRP is about $200 more on the VP9 than the CC9. However, I do see these on sale, so prices are kind of all over. Again, these are fairly readily available. The CC9s are not. On the CC9, I like the trigger better, and the big difference is for me, as this is my concealed carry gun, this gun's pretty much replaced the VP9 or any other H&K in my carry rotation because it is so easy to carry inside the waistband. That thinness, some people don't like how thin the grip is. I'm good with it. It feels fine, but it is absolutely effortless to carry this firearm. So as a concealed carry firearm, I choose the CC9 all day long. The VP9 and his P30SK brother have been relegated more to either bag guns that my wife will carry or guns I'll keep in a truck in a small compartment. So love them both. The VP9SK has been a fantastic gun forever, but I think H&K's USA-made CC9 is my new choice for my everyday carry between the two. Again, thank you for watching this video, and we'd love to hear from you. Which one do you choose? Thanks again.